Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast, this time talking about the 9th Doctor Who book adaptation from Big Finish, Nightshade. Nightshade has a reputation, oh yes. It's written by Mark Gatiss, way back when Mark Gatiss was a writer, and he was hanging around with the people who would eventually become the League of Gentlemen. He's approximately my age, but he tried so much harder than I did, managing to get his name under the wire to do the Air Zone solution, and to get to be with the people from Doctor Who. Yes, it could be described as juvenilia, or, as a certain Ms. Miles says on the Verity podcast, somebody writing their first novel throws everything into them, because they might not get to do it again. And that's what we have here. Of course, the audio has not been written by Gatiss, or no, it's been adapted by Kyle C. Szikora. That's spelled S-Z-I-K-O-R-A. The pronunciation may be wrong on my part, so I apologise. However, the adaptation itself shines. These do take you back to those wilderness years. They're not fairground years. We weren't having fun on the rides. We were wandering around aimlessly. Perhaps if you were called it the fairground years, then, well, we were the ones wandering around without much money, not winning goldfish. Everybody else seemed to be having a lot more fun than us, trying out new things, but it wasn't us. We were just the consumers. We were the people scrabbling around for the odd bit of merchandise, the odd lifeline. Virgin novelisations were glorious, and this one had a particularly great cover, a big insectoid thing bursting through a wall and a radar dish in the distance. It was just unsettling enough for me to put it to the back of the pile of books to read. And yes, with all adaptations, you're looking at something that's an inch thick being shrunk down into, 2 hours of entertainment. So what's it about? Here's the synopsis. Professor Nightshade, tea-time terror for all the family, and the most loved show in Britain. But Professor Nightshade's days are long over, and Edmund Trevithick is now just an unemployed actor in a retirement home, fondly remembering his past. It's the same through the entire village of Crook Marsham. People are falling prey to their memories, at first harmlessly, and then the bodies begin to turn up. The Doctor and Ace arrive on the scene, but with the Doctor planning his retirement, it may be time for Professor Nightshade to solve one last case. Yeah, now, it's obvious from the outset that on some levels Nightshade is based on Doctor Who, but on most levels it's based on Quatermass. Yes, there are some nice side moments. Things like a missing doctor, Dr. Shearsmith, yes, named after Mark's mate Reese. But that's the sort of thing people do. People put their friends into books, especially at the beginning when they think no one's going to notice, and people might or might not get famous. It's nice that those names survived the transfer. Now, John Castle is playing the old retired actor, but he's also playing Nightshade, or Quatermass. Someone who experienced the whole 1950s thrill of science fiction. Someone who was famous, but in their own head. Someone who was a bit of a coward in real life. Not like actors who played the Doctor. And so on. Yes, there are parallels with that, but once you get past that, you've still got a rip-roaring Doctor Who story. Because you've got the creatures that may or may not be from beyond the stars, or may not be from the past. Giant insects appear on the cover of the CD, so we can assume that they're the creatures. So much more eloquently realised than they were on the book jacket. Yes, there are themes dealt with in this audio that you just don't get elsewhere in the Big Finish range. Ace leaving is so tremendously well executed and realised that you start thinking that, oh, perhaps this is the moment that we were denied elsewhere. Yes, we know that Ace left in a variety of different ways in the Virgin novelisations and eventually went off to fight Daleks. So even then, we know on many levels that it isn't the case. But if you don't know that, the performances ring so true. That, combined with the Doctor's imminent retirement, are all things which were banded around and echoing throughout the entire Virgin range. And here we experience them. Lines being read by actors which you just don't get anywhere else. It's a storming story and a very, very good adaptation. Yes, the things that are missing aren't really needed, but it just makes you go off and read the book. Well, that's not really going to be a problem, is it? Well, it is if you try and buy it on eBay, because it is going to set you back a pretty penny. And I'm not lending you my copy. But I just need to point out that on the cover, at the very bottom, on the left, it says, also Caroline Ford, and I'll let you make up your own mind as to who she's playing. And with that, I'll fade away and speak to you all very soon, probably about Doctor Who. So until then, be seeing you.
Listen to me. There are things in here with us that are not of this planet. Bad move! They're here for me!
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, Nightshade.
We're missing something. What is it? I see the creature from my old series. Poor Lawrence believed that the ghost of his late brother appeared to him. Your security guard and Jack Prado, what did they see?
What's that? I've never seen that before.
Bob? Is that you?
Ace, what the hell is that?
I don't know, but we need to move now!
Hurry, Miss Mason!
We are being bombarded by data from space. Maybe it's...
Invaders from Mars? That's your province, not mine. At least in the real world.
Look at all that energy pouring from it. What do you need? Yes, we've established that. What is it that you need?
Oh, something's breaking through the wall!
Son, I think we better get out of here, sharp.
Oh, dear God!
You see, it's them!
Into the corridor! Run! Now!
Looks like there's a storm coming.
Big Finish. We love stories.
That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.